Michael is homeless. I am so stupid that I hadn't even figured that out. And then last night I realized no real money, no credit record. I mean, you can't pay for a Holiday Inn with gold foil strips, right? So I texted him and he said he sleeps different places every night. There's a couple shelters and churches, or he just sleeps outside. He doesn't smell like a homeless guy, but he said the first time he talked to Auntie Lou, she gave him some change, which she never mentioned, as if she was ashamed for not cheating him completely. She gave him a couple bucks, so he got a locker at the YMCA so he could use the shower. Apparently, they have the Y in Yugoslavia. Did you know the YMCA was founded in 1844? I looked it up. Most nights, Michael sleeps in a different church and then walks back to the downtown Y for a shower. It must be weird for him here. I don't know what they eat in Yugoslavia, but I'm pretty sure it ain't Panda Express. Dinner, back in a bit. I've been in Seattle my whole life. Literally all of it, except for 2 trips to Oregon, and I once went to Vancouver with the school band. I applied to a bunch of different colleges, but I guess I always knew I would go to UW because this is where my family is. For Michael, Seattle is an alien land, exotic. For me, it's like a prison cell where I know every crack in the wall. I can't imagine feeling like a stranger. My parents came here in '93. They were worried about what was going to happen to Hong Kong when the mainland took over. I always thought I would at least get to visit, but they still don't trust the Chinese government. They worry we might visit and not come back. They were strangers here. Inside Chinatown, it's one thing, but for regular Americans, if someone doesn't speak English very well, you just assume they're stupid. It's easier to build a business where you're understood. My parents need me to be American, but they don't really like it, especially my mom. My dad thinks she should try harder. I've always wanted to be a tourist, to go somewhere, anywhere, that wasn't just the same as always. But TBH, I probably don't know how hard that can be. So I said this at dinner. We were eating and I told my parents I thought it was really brave of them to come here and to start a business, and that they did it for themselves, but they did it for me too. And I know how hard it must have been, and they stared at me like I had 2 heads. And then my mom started to cry, which she never does. Seriously, my mom is about as sentimental as a pair of rubber boots. I must have looked scared because she wiped her face and smiled at me and said one of her Cantonese proverbs, Ma sai lok de hung, which means when your horse dies, you have to walk. And she looked at my dad. When your horse dies, you have to walk.